What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today we are talking about how I think Tears of the Kingdom will outsell Breath of the Wild and become the highest selling Zelda game of all time. For the last few months, as the marketing has kind of ramped up for Tears of the Kingdom, a lot of people are stating that Tears of the Kingdom will not outsell Breath of the Wild. Now, as of this recording, Breath of the Wild has sold around right above 29 million units, and it's probably already has passed 30 million. We'll know when Nintendo drops their next financial reporting. I'm pretty sure Zelda's gonna break 30 million with the sales and stuff like that, and of course the anticipation of Tears of the Kingdom. So if you guys remember way back in 2017, when Breath of the Wild launch coincided with the Wii U and the Switch, at one point Breath of the Wild was outselling the Switch, which is crazy, and it does make sense. I mean, there's going to be more copies of that out there than the actual Switch itself, because it was just in such high demand back then. And with the Switch, over 100 million units sold now, and there's such a higher install base, I just don't see in what world where Tears of the Kingdom will not outsell Breath of the Wild. Now, Breath of the Wild has been out for 6 years, so it's got a lot of time underneath its belt to get those sales. Tears of the Kingdom feels like it's going to be a different beast, and I'll explain that here in a moment. But with all of the Switches out there, all the hype around Tears of the Kingdom, and I was one of those people where I was kind of on the edge of, is the marketing bad for Tears of the Kingdom, or has it been kind of perfect? And I'm more on the line that the marketing has been perfect. Did they announce Tears of the Kingdom, or the sequel to Breath of the Wild, back then too soon in 2019? Probably so. But now that we get the trailer dropping in the February Direct, and then the final trailer we just got not too long ago, the hype has just been slowly increasing. And now that we're almost 2 weeks out, I mean, it's just through the roof, right? I mean, right now on Amazon, it's the number 2 best-selling video game item behind a PlayStation card. So that's still crazy, and it's not just today. It's been consistently number 1, number 2 for months now. It's outpaced Breath of the Wild sales within the same weeks prior to launch. It's outpaced that. So again, I just don't see a world where Tears of the Kingdom can't get past those numbers. And it may be crazy to me to think, but I think it'll at least hit 15 to 20 million units, probably within this year. I know that's crazy. Stuff like, Hogwarts Legacy, Elden Ring, obviously those are multi-platform, but Elden Ring hit 20 million units in a year. I don't see why Zelda couldn't either. And let me get to my second point of why I think it's just going to be a different beast of a game. Way back when Nintendo was first starting to develop this, and they initially called it DLC, which ended up hurting them in the long run, because people just can't seem to let that DLC mindset go, which from the final trailer we've got, with all the gameplay previews we've seen, I mean, this game looks incredible. So I think back then, when they were thinking about how they could improve the world building, creating, it's probably what initially came to mind, and that's what kind of catapulted it into its own sequel, because they knew how huge it was going to be. Now, obviously, the Sky Islands are super cool, and being able to explore underground is super cool. We still haven't gotten confirmation of dungeons, so there's all these other things, but the building aspect is what is going to sell this game, and again, just turn it into a different beast. Because look at games like, Roblox, and specifically Minecraft, how popular those are with kids, right? Kids love building. Something that's so complicated like Minecraft, you hand a kid a controller and they just kind of pick it up immediately, and they immediately start building these really cool things. And Minecraft is still huge. I mean, when it was sold to Microsoft, Microsoft bought it. I mean, the game has just completely blown up, even more so than that. I mean, there's so many YouTube channels and YouTube videos that are dedicated to Minecraft, and other games like Roblox have definitely helped with this kind of building mechanic. But I think Nintendo and the Tears of the Kingdom developers are banking on that creative mentality that a lot of not only kids but also adults do. You have stuff like Fortnite, where you're building in that. Now I know it's a little bit different, right? But you've got the creative mode in Fortnite where people are building stuff. So building and creating is such a huge part of the gaming community now, that adding those elements and those mechanics into Tears of the Kingdom is just going to completely blow up the Zelda franchise, more so than what Breath of the Wild did. And that's what I think Nintendo is banking on. You're going to have, I mentioned it previously about like how I compared the game to Elden Ring, and how I think stuff like TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and even YouTube as well, because there's so many Breath of the Wild videos, is going to absolutely blow this game up to where, hey, look what I just did with this shield and with this rocket. I combined them together. I shot up in the sky, did a crazy trick, or, I combined these crazy different items together and made this really cool, flying saucer, or, what have you. I think adding that creativity and those elements to the game is just going to make the game last for years. And I think people who aren't into Zelda, their friend is going to get Zelda and say, hey, you can build these really awesome vehicles and combine weapons together. And I think that's just the word of mouth is going to spread as well. Not that Tears of the Kingdom necessarily needs word of mouth, but for the people that aren't into Zelda, are going to hear it from their friends and pick it up because of these building mechanics. So I think Nintendo is a genius with creating this idea. And I know it's not necessarily new, but we never really had something like that in the game where you can combine so many different things together and it just works, right? So that's my take on why I think Zelda is going to outsell Breath of the Wild and become the highest grossing Zelda game of all time. I think it's just going to just absolutely do numbers. And I think whenever they inevitably announce the Switch predecessor, I think Zelda will get some sort of like FPS boost, maybe a graphical boost. I'm not quite sure, but that'll also increase sales. And yeah, I think this game is going to be so huge. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I do enjoy talking about sales numbers. I know most people don't care about that stuff. They just want to play the game and hear about more, found footage and stuff like that. But I think sales are a really interesting thing to look at and keep up on. So again, hope you guys like this video. Comment down below if you guys think that I'm right. Do you guys think that this game is going to outsell Breath of the Wild? Let me know if you think I'm wrong, or if you guys have a different opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.